We off in this place, catching vibes, sit back and we blaze in the sky like I'm out of space. Natural high, light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up.
What's going on, Cigar World? What's going on, Cigar Enthusiasts? This is Jack, the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm back with another segment of the Virtual Smoke Deck. And today, man, we got a show in for you, man. It's going to really be a good one. And I know it's kind of not our normal. Our thing is normally Sundays, but we had to shift everything simply due to the fact that Super Bowl weekend. And last thing I want to do is take somebody away from or kind of waste our guest of honor time because the amount of people tuning in is going to be very, very minimum. Hey, before we get started, man, I need everybody to stop what they're doing and press the share button. My group sharing is not working for some apparent reason, and I need to get the word out. I typically can't because, I can't right now simply due to the fact that we don't have everything that we need to do working and oh my God, whatever. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, give us a huge thumbs up. Today we have our guest of honor is an icon in the industry, man. I've been looking up to this guy for a long time, and I know a lot of people be like, man, the introduction is really not necessary. Well, for this one, it is, man. This guy's been grinding his butt off in the industry since 1996, and I guarantee it started before 96, but we're going to dive into that as well. But today, man, like I said, we got a special guest really coming in. I want him to breathe before we bring him in. He's been having one of those days, just like I've been having one of those days, but it's going to be a good session. I promise you. Hit that share button, man. Go ahead and hit that share button. Without further ado, introducing our guest, Honest. Hey, what's up, champ? You on mute.
I gotta tell you, bro. I know we were talking before we went live. I was a little stressed out,
Yeah.
But you gotta match your intro to your intro music, bro. Your intro music was like grooving. I was chilling out, and next thing you know, it was like WWF wrestling battle when you came on the show. It was like an emotional change up. It's screaming. It's like you need like punk thrash metal rock intro if you're going that way. Yeah, man.
Well, we thank you so much for tuning in on this one Saturday, and then two, we're just so close to the time of you putting on one of the biggest shows in the industry. But man, before we go into all that good stuff, man, for the people that don't have a clue of who you are, which I'm sure is very few people that don't, man, go ahead and give us an introduction of yourself and a little bit about you.
Well, my name's Abe Dababneh. I go by Honest Abe.
I would have messed that up if I tried to say it. Dababneh?
It's not that bad. It's Dababneh. It's not that bad.
Dababneh. You should put that little breakdown that Facebook allows you to put.
Phonetically, yeah. I've been in the industry now for pretty much a quarter of a century, a little bit over probably. We grew a good business here in South Florida. Started with about 900 square foot retail store. I think we got 10 now spread out around South Florida. In 2008, I believe, we started our first mail order website, and have just managed to take our message of being an experience-driven company and get it out there to the world. And knock on wood, and thank God, we've grown very well. Our following keeps growing every week, like unbelievably, and now we signed a lease last October, September for our first warehouse and fulfillment center. So
really,
yeah. Hopefully, we needed it now, but I think we'll have it open in May.
Yeah,
May be open. Yeah, we'll probably document it and do a video. But yeah, we're just having fun, and we take the fun we're having, and we like to spread it around. That's how the Great Smoke got started.
Yeah, that particular show is just gonna be amazing. I told people last week on our segment I was gonna ask you if I can come down and do a live segment in the middle of it. But no, seriously, man, honestly, congratulations on the warehouse. One of the biggest things about companies that a lot of people don't understand is when you start really doing the online segment a lot, you're pushing a lot of inventory. So in order to fulfill the inventory necessities, if that makes sense, you have to have a warehouse, and that's a lot of reason why a lot of people just open up lounges, because it's acts as their warehouse versus going into the warehouse side of it. But hey, man, look, I'll be honest, I'm not here to talk about anything that somebody has already talked about, right? I want to get to know Honest, just like I have told you before, Abe. I highly look up to you, and I really want to talk about the Great Smoke, on how we can make this thing, be as big as we possibly can, as brothers of the leaf, and as family, pretty much. I mean, that's what we're here to do. So, Abe, man, really understanding your image and everything that you're doing, what had really helped you get to the part of where you can open up a warehouse 10 stores later? What was it that really put you that in your mindset, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go into the cigar industry?
Well, that was two questions. Which one do you want me to answer first?
Both.
Well, getting in the cigar industry was chance, honestly. I mean, I was in the family business. I was in the grocery business in Chicago. I got into cigars. I accidentally got put in a situation where I helped an uncle out because he wanted to sell cigars. And I thought, wow, he just went through a whole lot. And I started opening accounts in Chicago. And I got put in a situation where I was helping. I got thrown into running the family business. I didn't really want to. But I was all right with that. I was helping my dad. I was doing good. But I did it too good to where the company that we bought all the cooperatives, like the groceries from, wanted to offer me another location. I guess somebody wasn't running their shop good. They'd borrow money. They had to take it back because they couldn't make payments. They wanted to just give it to me, take over payments. So I didn't know if I wanted to do that. I kind of knew I was liking cigars, and I literally came to Florida to visit a friend to think about that decision, and I never went back. So that's how I got in the cigar business, really. I mean, in the retail side of the business. As far as stuff like a warehouse and everything, Darian, all I can tell you is I'm not sure. I mean, now I'm 25 years in the business, and I think as you get older and you get wiser, you have more of what I like to call a depth of vision, right? Certain people can see so far down a road, right? Yeah. Imagine headlights at night driving, and how far, it depends how good your headlights are and how far you can see down the road. Now, people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they see decades down the road. I mean, they're seeing stuff we haven't even envisioned. I mean, that's the kind of people they are. So, I think as you get older, your depth of vision, gets a little bit better, and you start seeing further down the road. But up until then, man, it's just a series of fortunate events, doing the right thing. If you do the right thing, first off, I never met anybody in my life who worked hard and didn't live okay. I mean, you may not ever be like super filthy rich, but you'll never need for anything. You'll live well. You'll take vacations. You'll provide for your family. I've never seen anybody with hard work that didn't pay off. But then at some level, it takes a little bit more than that. And, my philosophy, I've been good at always recruiting and maintaining a team that understood my philosophy and preached it and lived it. And we've always been experience driven. I mean, just from day one. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go online, because I couldn't understand. Because remember, when I started online business, I mean, there was no Facebook. I mean, there was, but nobody was using it. It was still like a obscure thing. It literally was MySpace. Yeah. And it might be before MySpace when I started. I don't know when MySpace came out, but you figure the shop began in 1996. So, everything I was building and why I was secure in my cigar business in the retail side is because we understood that we were really selling experience. The product's an ancillary effect. I mean, you have to know how to have the product and keep the product. This is how I beat a lot of my competitors, because I always made sure we always had product. There's only so many times as a consumer you're going to go to a cigar shop who doesn't have what you want until you say, I'm going to go find a place that has it. Yeah. Especially in today's, back in the day, you tell a customer, hey, I don't have it, but I could order. I'll have it for you in 3 or 4 days. He'd say, fine. Now there's 10 cigar shops he can go to in your area, or he orders it online and gets it quicker. So those days are over. So I mean, we just always understood that experience is what's important. I think it's what differentiated us from our local competition. And then we started doing something like the Great Smoke, which was designed for our local people. And then word got out, and then Facebook and social media, and we became more involved in social media. We were able to spread our message. And it's just all a buildup, I mean, it's just all been a buildup. And, having multiple stores was like having a warehouse for me anyway, and we were able to function and still do an amazing amount of business because we basically had a warehouse of inventory, but it was spread around, multiple locations. Which, logistically kind of made it, sometimes if you order today, it took us a day to get it from the other store before we could ship it, but everybody was always understanding. It was never like instantaneous. But now we're to the point where it's not even about the inventory being in 8 different places. We don't have the room to work, just constructing stuff like Cigar of the Month or this Great Smoke package or our Connoisseurs Club. Our space is enough. So literally since like the middle of last year, beginning of last year, like we like just take over half our lounge in the front of our headquarters, and it's like a fulfillment center.
Yeah.
And but it's not one move, it's not one decision. It's a lot in a series of continual progress and moving forward and not becoming complacent. That's another thing. That's another thing as an entrepreneur people get. They get complacent. Mm-hmm. I could chill. I could have started chilling probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's not exciting,
So what made you what feeds the mind to the point where you say I have to want more? You talk about how Bill Gates get to see miles and miles and miles down the road. What is that characteristic that a lot of people are missing that Abe got?
I don't know if that's that was a big comment.
What in the heck? Delete that comment. That like it has something going on with it. Spam. It's Jesus virus.
I don't know if that's a taught trait. I don't know if it's where that comes from. People, it's just, and it's not about wanting more, doing more. It's about just, it's a continual challenging of yourself, right? What can I do next? What's the cool thing to do?
Yeah,
and I think that's the way we live, and I've been good at surrounding myself because I'm an idea guy. When we want to tackle a challenge like how we came up with the Great Smoke that we're doing in a couple of weeks, I brought 4 or 5 of my best guys in the room. We just sat there talking. It literally took us 2.5 maybe hours before we even came up with a tangible idea that we thought, okay, if we could pull this off, this would be a cool way to do the Great Smoke. And I've been good at surrounding myself to people who are responsive like that. But it's just, what's the next thing? What can we do next? And honestly, half the time it's just a thought. It's an outside thought. It's a conversation. It just gives me an idea. Yeah. The difference is, and look, and we all experience it. And, Fred Rui said this to me something because we just did something in our shopping cart. It's been a big hit. It's called The Alibi. Uh-huh. When you check out of our retail store, it'll ask you, do you need an alibi? And it'll give you an option.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give you the option where instead of putting our normal handwritten letter, you get a letter that says, hey, congratulations, you won the trivia contest.
That is awesome.
This is a gift from your brother Leaf. Now, that wasn't my idea. Believe it or not, it was Fred Rui's idea. Like a friend of mine, a guy in Cigar Industry. And when he showed it to me, I'm like, this is brilliant. I said, where'd you get this from? Is anybody doing this? He goes, no, it was a joke or something. Like, oh, and it was on our website within 24, 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And, Fred made a comment. It's not just about thinking stuff. I think a lot of people sometimes are poised with an idea, or they say, I have an idea, but to execute it.
Execution.
That's where the majority of people fall short. You can dream up something. What I'm doing now with the Great Smoke, I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody in my company's at their wits' end. They're all being pushed to their limits. Everybody. And, God bless them. They're amazing people, and bless them because they deal with me, especially during these times. But coming up with the idea, if I'd known, I would have hired a company to document this whole process. I really would.
That would have been.
I had no idea. I had no idea the what we would go through and this process because we've never done it before. But I literally would have had a company just film for the last 3 months about what we're putting together. And I don't even think half the people, I know half the manufacturers have no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've been working with them for 25 years.
Yeah.
And they know my track record, they know my reputation, they're supportive as hell. So when I'm doing this virtual thing, I don't even think they read it. I don't think half of them understood it. They just said, okay, we're in, whatever you need. And I'm not sure if the consumers realize, and I think it's going to be one of those things when it's all done, if it comes out the way my vision is seeing it, people are going to go, wow, did that just happen? Holy cow, what was that? So it's execution is where I think most people fall short of getting to where they want to go or their goals, because it takes sacrifice. Yeah. I'm sacrificing, my teams are sacrificing, and the guys around me, they got lives too, and they don't own the company. I mean, they all get treated very well, but they're putting their blood into it, and they're feeling the same pride about it than I am, which I love, which tells me as an employer I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And, execution is everything. So many people have great ideas, but never pull the trigger to execute, and when you don't pull that trigger to execute, then that idea stays in your mind. And then eventually what comes out of your mouth is what can't happen, or why can't it happen, or what I don't have to make it happen. And then that idea in your mind goes further back until it's all the way out your mind. And I think that's crazy that you mentioned execution, because sometimes I think of that, a lot of people were like, well, why did you open up a cigar lounge in the middle of a pandemic? I said, because I'm willing to go all in. And if I can go all in now, then that means that when it's time to live the glorious days, we're good to go. And I think, that's a lot about what it is that you have done, and a lot of the characteristics that you kind of embrace that has pushed you to this empire that you're building. And again, that's what it is, because that's just the definition of it. What you're doing is something great. And I think the Great Smoke is definitely going to be something that is, off the chains. And it's all about surrounding yourself with those people that's going to help you get there. Nobody can do it by themselves. You have to have a team that can push you and drive. But go ahead. It's like you have something to say.
No, I'm listening to you.
No, go ahead.
That's a fact. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They think that it's all about them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm as good as the team I could build, and that's the fact of it. And it's I think employers that embrace that, and as a good employer, you should know the needs of your team. Everybody has different needs, so to do that, I think is essential to being successful. Otherwise, you're just swimming upstream, and no one really cares. And I think that's part of, whether it be the handwritten letters, whether it be the mints that we put in our shipping packages, whether it be the way we pack it, they all care. And I think it's a genuine care that resonates and that consumers are attracted to. I mean, look, I've always said we're not the cheapest place to shop. I mean, you want bargain basement guys selling stuff out of their garage or just the super deal. There's places to buy. It's the least expensive. It's not us. We always offer an extremely fair price. And if you know our programs and your reward dollars, and when we have weekly discount codes, we're just about as competitive as anybody. But where no one ever beats us is in our service and how we treat everybody. And that's the thing to drive and get your team to learn and live up to and maintain. That's the hardest part. Yeah. But that's the one thing that I'm confident I can beat anybody at. Yeah. I can beat anybody. At least my team, the team I got, I'll put them up against anybody as far as concerned. Now, I'm not saying that there's no other people with good customer service. There's great customer service. There are guys out there like me who get it, run a shop with good customer service. But, I'm confident that we could do it better than anybody. And I think that's the mentality of anybody who's successful, or, if you're an athlete, if you're a champion, you feel like you could do it better than anybody. And that's the one area I have the most confidence how we treat our customers and service them.
As we sit back and we really evaluate everything that you have done for the industry over the quarter of a century that you've been in it, you have had a lot of successes. If you can look back and say, if I would have knew this sooner, this could have been a lot easier, smoother, and quicker for me, what would that one thing be?
I don't think like that, Darian, because if you think like that, then all the extra struggle you went through is not experience that you learned from.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of believe that the course is the course.
So,
Things are altering things. Look, if you're continually moving in the direction that you want to move,
mm-hmm.
positively forward, then anything that you say, oh, if I had done that, I mean, look, there's always things like you say, oh, I wish we had thought of that or whatever, but I don't get hung up on stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I had a situation that here in Florida that was, tragic and not tragic, but it was very stressful and it was antagonistic, and it was me and a situation, and somebody said, well, how do you not still be mad? Well, I said, well, if it wasn't for that person, I would have never been in Florida. So I would have never had my wife. I would have never had my 4 kids. I would have built my business. So then how do you be mad?
Mm-hmm.
I came to Florida because that person made me stay when I visited down here. So, you just got to look at the bigger picture of stuff. And I'm a firm believer that the road is the road. I mean, you choose it, you live it, and that's how it is.
Absolutely. And that's, I wasn't trying to caveat to anything else, but what I was really getting to was like, how we all say, if I'd have knew this when this happened, and I could have been better prepared for it. And the purpose.
I mean, it's everything. It's a million things in life where you feel that way. I just don't get hung up on them.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Look, I think everybody naturally looks at things and say, "Well, I wish I had thought of that. I wish I." And there's a difference to say it out loud and question it. I just don't get hung up on it because none of those decisions I feel are monumental changes in my life or anything where if I'd done that, my whole world would be different today. No, it's not. Something may have been easier. Something may have been quicker. For me, those things are like, well, if I had made a right on Rosewood instead of going straight, I wouldn't have caught the traffic. Yeah, so it's going to take me 3 more minutes. I don't put that kind of stuff.
That makes sense, and it takes away the clouding, and the biggest reason I asked is because here we have a lot of not only cigar smokers, but we have entrepreneurs come on here as well, and watch this, and one thing that we try to always give to them is something that can help them elevate their business, and that was the purpose of the question. So you said you're from Chicago?
Yes, sure.
What part?
North Sider.
North side. So you up there by closer to like Waukegan?
No, dude, that's like Planet North. I'm like,
that's considered North Chicago. I'm just saying.
Waukegan City or Waukegan Road?
No, not Waukegan. Waukegan by Great Lakes.
I mean, if you
that's what they consider North Chicago. I'm from the Chicago area, so I know that's not North Chicago. I'm just trying to.
I'm from the north suburbs. I'm a north side. I'm just outside of Chicago. Suburbs immediately north of Chicago is Evanston, Illinois, where my family had been forever. And we were a little bit west of that. I grew up in a town called Niles.
So what brought you to, I take it to West Palm Beach? Is that where, when you say you came to Florida, that's where you went in Florida?
I came here on vacation. I told you. Yeah, my family, I was running the family business.
Yeah.
A gentleman, a good friend of mine that started the Smoke Inn in 1996, he wanted me to come down and start it with him. At that time, I'm like, look, I just got thrown in the family business. I can't get up and leave.
Yeah.
And spent the next 2 years, year and a half, building the family business. And I started distributing cigars in Chicago. And I was going to open up a Smoke Inn in Winnetka, Illinois. And I got thrown, when you have a grocery business, if you're an independent grocer, you don't buy from Del Monte or Kraft. There's a big cooperative that buys all these things in a big warehouse, and then you order from them and they ship it to you. So, they came to me and they wanted me to take over another big grocery store. They saw I was doing well and somebody wasn't making their payments, and they just wanted to give me it. To take it over, make the payment, it's yours. And I kind of knew if I did that, I'd never get out of the grocery business. So I came down to Florida for like 10 days to clear my mind, to think about if I want to make this move, and I never went back.
Really? Well, I remember you saying that, but I wanted to kind of get to the story that actually got you there.
Yeah, I ended up becoming partners with the guy down here, helped build the business down here. That was 98 and 2000. He moved on, and my family wasn't happy back then. I think my dad had phoned me a couple times, but I met my wife. I met my wife in the first 2 weeks I was down here in Florida, and so for me, every decision led me to where I am today. That's why I don't get caught up on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. So talking about the Great Smoke, man, what outside of everything that the website says, what is the main thing that you want people to take away from the Great Smoke?
Well, my goal was to make history, right? So our event started out with a couple hundred people 15 years ago, and it grew because we always wanted to be about experience. It wasn't just about coming and getting cigars. We made interactive stuff. We made it cool. So every time someone went home, he told 5 and 10 of his friends, and they come back next year with a couple extra people. And that's how it grew. And, now we're like thousands of people who come down every year. And, we had to make a decision last, sometime in the summer of what we were going to do. And it was too risky at the time to have made the gamble of saying we're just going to do it the way it's done every year and have people come in from all over the country because, we didn't know what was going to be going on in February, but it was too much to chance. So what alternatives do we have? After 14 years, do you want to skip a year? Is that something you really want to do? Is that going to be an option? What I don't want to do is just do it just because and then push these boxes. Because look, I watched other people. There was a lot of events canceled last year.
Yes, a lot.
They did these virtual events, okay, which was basically they sold you the box, right? And then they would get on a call like this, like we're having, which is how we do my radio show, KMA, right now. It's this virtual Zoom flat screen. I'm in a box, you're in a box.
Yeah.
And for me, that wasn't going to fly.
Yeah.
Because this is how we had to have done the Great Smoke. That I would have said, no, we're just going to skip this year. So we started coming up with ideas, and when we came up with this idea, it became so absurd. I'm like, I think it honestly was said in jest, and then it just so happens because I made the idea. I said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do like a Jerry Lewis telethon, like this 8-hour television Tonight Show format, like professionally done? But we didn't know about broadcasting, and I was just kidding. I mean, And then my operations guy goes, my best friend for 20 years is they're a show producer. I mean, they've done the Golden Globes and Kings of Comedy and Soul Train. I'm like, you're kidding. I said, you think he's going to want to mess with this? He goes, well, we can ask. And sure enough, he asked. And next thing you know, this is now a real possibility of happening. And, people spend our event, I like to say, is probably one of the top events in the country. Manufacturers have said it. People have said it. And, the track record of people coming from all over the country, even we have one guy who's now flown in from Israel 3 years in a row. So that they're coming this far for this event just says a testament of what kind of event it is. So now how do we transition this into a virtual experience? So I know that these people who spend their hard-earned money are spending a lot of money just to get down here. Forget about what they do when they're down here for 4 days. Between getting on a plane, renting a hotel, so it's a big expense. So, look, we said a lot of people who maybe never, ever could ever get down to the Great Smoke have an opportunity to take advantage of this. So how do we make this special? So basically, when you come down here, you're always graced with this commemorative bag and cigars and all this stuff you take home. And we just put that in a box and said, we're going to ship it this year, which was a whole logistical nightmare within itself. I mean, between you and I, I'm going to not ever stop giving them praise. Gurkha Cigars was nice enough to let us have a lot of everything sent to their warehouse, because even if we had our warehouse open, we could have never done this. They got a 20-some thousand square foot warehouse, and I think like we've taken over like 20% of their warehouse. I mean, I think if they had known what they were getting into, they may have not been so friendly and awkward. But I mean, we did a test run on Wednesday. We went and did some scouting and logistics plannings Monday. Then test run, we took a group of people to see how many boxes. So we had 300 boxes that were made in one day, which was a good, considering this for the first 2 hours just organizing. And we printed out all the labels. That's why everybody started getting their shipping notifications. But the boxes haven't shipped; they'll ship Monday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and probably by Wednesday, if not Thursday, all the TGS party in a box that should go out around the country. So it's just been a logistical nightmare, you know. But we're sending everything that you normally would have gotten by traveling down here, and then some. So instead of a commemorative duffel bag, you're getting this beautiful commemorative TGS cigar travel case, and you're getting this cigar band vault, and you're getting this commemorative shot glass, and you're getting the official hat and T-shirt, which we normally would never give out, because now we have to pack boxes by T-shirt size. I mean, we just went stupid with this. But the awesome package that's got all this stuff in there, you know, it's over a $430 package. You know, we basically charge what we normally charge and added up a shipping fee. And depending on where you are in the United States, the extra $20 that we put on doesn't cover the shipping cost. A few dollars on that too. So here on this alone, we've made this package that, look, I don't care if there's a great smoke or there's a not great smoke, and I can't wait till people start getting these and unboxing this. You're never going to see a value in this package like that we're sending out. So whether you take part in the broadcast, just wanted to get a hell of a deal and get a good box of cigars, these things are stupid value. I mean, how every cigar smoker, because most people, when they do stuff like this, they say 30 premium cigars or 40 premium cigars. They never tell you what they are because they're not all premium, right? Yeah. We listed them because we're proud of what every manufacturer picked. These are 40 good cigars that are going in there. You know, not every cigar is your taste profile, but that's how you learn, right? You try stuff. So we got these boxes going out. So now how do we take this box and make people want to feel part of something, right? And that's where the real thought tank came. So the first thing was we promoted the idea of people doing watch parties, because we knew that people were getting tickets that live by each other. So yeah, you can't fly to Florida, get a watch party with your friend. And I tell you what, I teamed up with this company that I order a lot of, you know, meat and fish from in Kentucky called Feed the Party. I'm not a pork chop eater, but I'm telling you, the best pork chops you'll ever have. I only eat pork chops. I got 4 kids. I order 40 at a time. They're the most beautiful pork chop ever. But I've developed a good relationship with that company, and he did a promotion where you get to post a video why your watch party is going to be the best party, and Feed the Party will feed your party. We've already picked 4 winners. The next and final winner, 5th winner, I think is going to be announced Sunday or Monday. And these guys are going to get this epic meat box full of filet mignon, strip steaks, pork chops, and a tomahawk ribeye that they could feed their watch party. Wow. And then we're going to have these guys who won this zoom in during the broadcast so we can see how epic their watch party is, right? Wow. So that was one thing. Then we have this liquor component where we're going to make signature cocktails throughout the event. All the ingredients will be up, so if people want to participate and everybody in the country make the same drink at the same time. And then we're going to take people who post the best picture, and we're going to send them a free bottle of the booze used in that drink, right? We have entertainers. We have Zoom guys calling in. The JoJo guys will be calling in. We have some surprise guests calling in, and that will be interactive. We're doing this in front of a live audience because that's the feel that we wanted. And then how do we take it to the next level? So I reached out to some very close manufacturers of mine, and I said, look, you know, I explained to them at TGS, I'd like to see if you have the possibility of making something special. We don't want a lot, you know, 100, 200 boxes, you know, whatever you have, whatever you can make, because we know with this was all being done and the planning in the middle of a pandemic. These guys couldn't get to factories. We didn't know what they could do, and they all stepped up to the plate. I mean, we've already teased the releases of what Rocky's doing and Nick is doing, and Saka has this beautiful little handwritten package that we smoke with Cigars and Fire. And, you know, today we put out a video today that extremely humbled me, because when it comes to families like Padron and Fuente, I really understand what the word legacy means. Because these are families that live every day and every decision they make. It's not just like I'm making a decision. How does this decision affect the legacy of my family name? And, you know, we had asked Carlito, you know, who they don't do a lot of like stuff like this, if he would make something special, and he agreed. We're related. And then when we saw what he made for us, the fact that he made us a very unique and special Opus X, I was humbled and honored. And then he sends me this video from the Dominican Republic, and you know, says I could share it. And we just put it out there today. It's on thegreatsmoke.com. It's on our Great Smoke Facebook page. I posted it on my personal page because for me that was a personal gesture. That was an amazing, humbling, and what the words he even expressed during that video was very moving, and so I posted on my personal page, and then I shared it to our other platforms. But you could find the video on the Great Smoke
Entertainment.
the Great Smoke Facebook page, and our Smoke Inn Facebook page, and you know, and it's on my personal page. You know, it's public, so you can see it under Honest Abe Dababneh. But it was very touching. So now we've got special things. Now we have some connectivity. We got people around the country. You know, they're going to be zooming in with their watch parties. We got people making drinks and cocktails all over the country at the same time. You know, so and the depth of just the stages that are being built, and this company is coming down from Atlanta. I mean, I really think it's going to end up being something that will be talked about for, if not months, maybe even years.
You know, people talk about, you know, the Fuentes and the Padrones, and you know, everybody loves their cigars, and I mean, obviously they have created a legacy that will long live past even our kids, you know, growing up, and their kids growing up, and everybody that smokes cigars is going to know them. But to see, you know, like you said, to have Carlito himself, you know, make an Opus X, that's big. And that's a testament to the great things that you and your company is doing, brother. Like what you're doing is huge. And I know you know it as you talk about it, how huge, and the behind the scenes things have happened. I asked you, you know, 2 weeks ago, how are you looking? Are we close to the show? You started laughing. And in reality, a lot of people don't understand the masterminding and the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making this stuff happen. And, you know, having your big boys like Padron, you know, Fuente, Rocky, all of them actually participate is not easy, you know, and it's a testament to you, because at the end of the day, you know what it takes to get in their graces. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can. It's only a few shops can, you know?
You know what? I don't believe in that mentality, because I was that guy that can't.
Okay.
You really have to believe that you could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, if you fail, you fail. You learn by failure. Anybody who's not failing at stuff is not learning anything and not getting anywhere. Believe it or not. I mean, look, you learn from your failures, but you have to fail in order to learn and succeed. So, I mean, the first Great Smoke we did was an obscure idea. No one ever thought we'd pull it off. And, you know, if I had listened how many times people said I couldn't do something, I wouldn't have done half the things I've done in my life. So it's a lot. I would try to teach my staff that work for me. It's very natural for us to create ceilings for ourselves that don't exist, to tell us why we can't do something or it just can't be done.
That's that voice.
It's a lot harder and a lot productive to figure out, how can I do it? I'm the type of guy I'd rather spend my energy figuring how can we pull something off than to tell myself why we can't do something.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a great mentality to have, man. Like I said, you know, just hearing you speak, you know, for these last couple of minutes, and you're just talking about it, it's just like, wow, you know what I mean? And again, you can't do those type of things without having a this is big mindset. You got to have this is big and this is gonna be big, and what can I do to make it big mindset that allows you to get to the point where you are. You know what I mean?
You know, Darian, it's not even about making it big. It really isn't. It's just about creating and doing something. And at the end of the day, that you know you're going to make a lot of people. Look, every year, and I do this thing at the end of every Great Smoke, because that's my time. Because it's a struggle every year. I never get to enjoy a Great Smoke. It's nothing I ever get to enjoy. Anybody who's been to one will tell you I don't stop moving for literally 5 seconds. Zero enjoyment in the process of doing one. But when I get up on that stage at the end and I start shouting and asking if everybody has a good time, and the thing echoes like I'm a gladiator in a Roman pit or whatever, dude, that's my time. That's what you do it for. Look, I don't know if you can see this. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it.
See it.
I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. That's what you do it for. Look at all these people, man. If it wasn't for that 10 minutes, 15 minutes on stage where you feel that energy of all these people from all over the world that are just so happy and excited, that's what's worth it. Now, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I'm not going to bullshit you. It's about making a living and selling cigars. But it's easy to sell cigars.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, look, somebody said something about, take my money or something. It's easy to take somebody's money, but it's a lot harder to make them want to give it to you.
Yeah.
You understand? Where they
Yeah.
want to, where they want to patronize your business. That's the harder part of life. These big companies who throw out sales or create these auction sites or all these gimmicks, they're about taking people's money.
Yeah.
We want people to spend their money with us. Yeah. There's a big difference in that mentality, and that's the best part is when you can do that and then make a living and be profitable doing that. That's a pretty lucky, blessed guy, and we've succeeded that,
And speaking of that, like, there's so many things out there, like you say, that can take your money, and it's like, what memory are you going to be able to give them that makes them want to come back? You know what I mean? It's not about, okay, you came here, you bought a box of cigars, and then you leave. Okay, even if that was the case, what is the memory that they can say? They can't. The memory is having that interaction with them, being able to talk with them, being able to understand them, asking them a question about trying to figure out what cigar they're trying to get to, versus just like, hey, you want that box? All right, Carl, let's go. You know what I mean?
Look, I tell people, thank you, Brian. I tell people when I hire them in an interview, I always ask them, I said, what is it you think we sell for a living? 90% of them say cigars. I said, it's not. Because no one ever walked out of my shop saying that was the best Romeo and Juliet I ever had.
Yeah.
That was the best Rocky Edge I've ever smoked. No, the same Rocky you smoked at 10 other cigar shops this month.
Yeah.
So that's not what we sell. That's not what keeps them back. It's how we acknowledge and treat them the moment that we walk through the door. Do we care that they're there? Do they know that we care that we're there? Do we really want to help them find something? Do we want to know whether this is a guy who just kind of wants to talk to somebody because there's a lot of people to talk to all day and loves the interaction? Or this guy comes to read a book and doesn't want to be bothered? Do we provide the clean atmosphere? Do we make sure his ashtrays are clean? That's the stuff. People walk out and say, man, every time I come out here, I come here, I feel great. Mm-hmm. That's what we sell. Mm-hmm. Cigars is the byproduct of what we sell. It's
That's what brings them in. It's like buying a car. You know what I mean?
From there, but that's not what keeps the doors open.
Exactly. Exactly.
A guy will buy a cigar from you, he's hard up and you're the only shop in the area. But when he's got choices and you don't cater to all the other needs of a consumer, he's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. So what's the number one need that you feel that you push your company to fulfill with each and every customer outside of experience?
It's customer service. It's that. And every customer has a different need. So you have to be intuitive enough to understand their needs. It's harder. It's harder on the online stuff, but that's why we do stuff like handwrite notes. I used to handwrite them all myself. And as the company grew, it wasn't a feasible idea. Then I started writing them to all first-time customers. Then that didn't become a feasible idea. But somebody in my staff writes a letter, handwrites a letter, every package that goes out the door. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then last year we even added mints, right? How nice is it to get a cigar shipment you weren't expecting anything? There's 2 nice butter mints in there for you. Yeah, I mean, stupid thing makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of your experience when my box shows up and you open it and you weren't expecting anything other than what you were supposed to get. And whether we throw a patch in there or something, but here, there's 2 mints. Such a simple thing. Who cares about a mint? I can't tell you how many mints have been posted all over social media because people are like, "This is awesome." And then for the holidays, we started with these black tin mints, and we'll run out of those eventually. But if you continue to think like that, we're able to take what we do in a store and then put it in a digital, not a digital, but in a way we could express it to our consumers who shop from us from all over the country. And then with Facebook and social media in the last decade, our ability to really connect with them on a personal level is just endless. So, we were fortunate to live in the area because that's all I'm doing. I'm taking how we do in our shop and I'm putting it on Facebook and social media, and people are relating and consumers are relating. We started our own private, which honestly is late in the game. Probably should have had one a couple of years ago, but we started our own private social Facebook group called Smoke Inn Social. And you know, a lot of these companies would start a club like this, and then they don't interact. They just let all their consumers post. All they do is want to post specials, and that's not what we do. I've posted snippets of smoking history over 25 years, you know, things that people didn't know about and be interested about. My staff posts some funny, you know, behind the scenes stuff that goes on in the shop, and we want a friendly atmosphere where people can actually just relate and not be so serious and enjoy it. And our group is a little over a month old. I mean, I think we started in January. It's a little over a month old, or late December, and we're already past 1,200 people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, and they're coming every day because I'm literally taking this philosophy that we've had in our retail stores, and we put it in our little smoking social Facebook group, and we're having fun there. And I think people are having fun. And I've seen more times than not, people have said this is one of the best groups out there. And, you know, that feeling that we're able to do that and provide that, it not just fuels me, but it fuels the guys around me, which is a great thing.
You know, that ability to just capture those and, you know, have those connections with people, I think has really helped create your reputation, man. Like, honestly, you're one of the biggest figures in the retail segment of the cigar industry.
Literally, I am. Literally.
Hey, I seen you. What was it? Maybe a couple years ago, you was on your DJ Khaled, you know, Weight Watcher thing. What ended up happening with that? I'm sure it wasn't Weight Watchers. You was on a diet, you know. I
had a competition. Look, it's a lifetime struggle, but I had a competition with Nimish and Steve Saka, and we lost all this weight, and I ended up putting it all back on like a year later. And I just kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to live a more moderate lifestyle where I'm just incorporating working out a lot.
Yeah.
And I've managed to drop about 60 pounds since November.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not stressing it. You know, unfortunately, I've been missing a few workouts here and there because I really have had unusually long and early days. And probably the next 2 weeks is not going to be too hot.
No.
But I want to get back on the horse right away after the Great Smoke. And you know, I'm still going to try and make it. You know, I switch a day. I was normally in the gym every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but like if I can and I got nothing scheduled and I can go, I'll switch to a Tuesday. But it's a constant battle, you know. I mean, and just try to be as healthy as I can.
So, what's your goal for the end of the year?
Weight wise?
Yeah,
I haven't been under 300 pounds since I played football. I think it was my junior year. Actually, my senior year, I was over 300 pounds. I played football. Oh yeah, I was a 320 lineman when I played in high school.
Did you go? You didn't go play in college or anything of that nature?
If my heart was in it a little more, I most likely could have. I was a big boy and a strong guy. I just
look at your hand. I mean, that makes my hand like seem small.
Yeah, that wasn't the passion move for me. And then I think what happened was my junior year, I had an incident where like I was like paralyzed for 4 days, and I was having this problem with this nerves, and I didn't even want to play my senior year. I said I was done.
Yeah.
I spent 4 days lying on flat on the floor in pain, and like, yeah, I'm done. No way. And it wasn't like nothing major. It was a stupid thing that I was getting this pinched nerves every time I got hit. My arms would just
drop.
And painful. I couldn't move them, and it was just some trigger here. So they did a myelogram on me, which I don't even think they do it anymore. It's probably barbaric, but they literally put a pin through your spinal cord, inject the dye, and then flip you upside down and watch the dye run. And then after I got home, my head was going to explode. I couldn't move. And I came home and I lied down on the living room floor, and I didn't move for 4 days. And
wow.
In excruciating pain. I couldn't get up to sit on a toilet. I didn't eat. We kept calling the doctor, and they kept putting it off because I think they knew what it was, but they figured it would heal itself, and it didn't. But I guess what happens is when they pierce your spinal cord, when they pull the needle out, it's supposed to close up.
Yeah.
Well, mine didn't. So you lose pressure to your brain because you're losing spinal fluid out of your back, and your whole body's out of whack. I wasn't paralyzed because I couldn't move, but any movement was excruciating pain.
Right.
So They managed to get me back to the hospital after 4 days because they figured, I guess this thing ain't closing up, never telling me what was going on. I thought I was dying. They get me to the hospital. You know how they solve it?
How?
They took blood from my arm and they injected it in your back so the blood clots over the hole. I was walking out of the hospital 20 minutes. Went through all that. So I was like, I'm done with this. You know, I'm a halfway smart guy. I'll go to college. And I didn't go to doubles my senior year. Everybody couldn't believe I was going to play. The coaches came to the house. The teachers came to the house. And I fended them all off. I said, look, I made my decision. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't until school started where it got worse, because then I had every student, every teacher. They all couldn't believe I wasn't going to play. And I broke down. I ended up going back after like 2 days of the first day school started, which I don't care how good I was. Everybody on my team hated me, and justifiably so, because here I am. I didn't go to doubles, and I was literally like starting the second week again.
You know how that get, man.
Oh, they were
when you miss that practice, those sprints, and
they're out there doing doubles. Yeah, they're out there doing doubles and dying in 90-degree heat, man. I just waltz on, but I paid the price. I was out of shape.
Yeah,
I didn't do doubles. I mean, those 2 weeks were me coming back were a nightmare. But we had a great historic team, you know, and we went down to the state finals. We had 7 shutouts out of 9 games. And that was that. But I ended up going to Indiana University, and I didn't play. After that.
Indiana. My wife actually went to Indiana for a little bit. That's interesting. But so, you know, what did 2020 teach you? And what do you think 2020 taught the industry?
Well, 2020 didn't really teach me much, other than not to believe anything you have, not to believe anything you hear on TV, because you don't know what's the truth and not. But no, I mean, because look, here's my philosophy: is it's not about teaching. Is look, you have to always find a way to find out how you can make lemonade out of any kind of lemons that are thrown at you. You're better off taking your energy and your creativity to say, look, this is the situation. How do we react? And that's what we did as a team, as an organization. It was rough. I did, you know, I know I can't even say that, because I was going to say I learned how dedicated and loyal my team was, but I knew that going in. Yeah. I knew we have a great team. They all stood by us. I kept them all employed, and you know, the bartenders unfortunately ended up getting other jobs for a while, but they all came back. So I mean, I don't know if 2020 taught me anything other than things I already knew. I knew the human race perseveres. We find way to persevere. And we also have short memories, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad. But, you know, a lot of people found a way to pivot, change. This industry did. People started doing, the people who just wanted things to go back to normal and didn't do nothing suffered.
Yeah.
And I think the people that suffered the most were people who kind of were already barely hanging on, you know, but people started doing virtual events. People started doing delivery service, curbside service, whatever they could do. They did something because people were still buying cigars. Yeah. You know, and, you know, we did what we did, and we do, you know, what we do best. We keep thinking. One of the best ideas I'd come up with, it's just all about reaction, action and reaction. So one of the best ideas I came up with during COVID, which I'm very proud of, was we have a very successful Cigar of the Month club. In my opinion, one of the top ones in the country. And it's grown super fast. And the nice thing about our Cigar of the Month club is the people who are in it really belong, and they're proud of it. So I remember when someone had made a post after a few months after COVID started that they had to suspend their package for the first time after, remember, just because money was getting tight. And you know, we get caught up in our own lives and we don't realize, man, $30, people are having, you know, that's a lot of money. Yeah. You know, we may not be feeling it here where we're at, or this person, that person, but, you know, the struggle is real out there for some people. So, you know, we came up with a thing called Pay It Forward, which I was very happy with. It was basically giving up our profits for 2 days and maybe cost us a few bucks. But anybody who came to our site and spent $100 got to send a $50 gift card to somebody they knew who was in need. right? So basically, we kind of took maybe even more than what our profit would have been on that sale, and we allowed them to gift it to somebody in need. You couldn't keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't just email it to yourself. You had to email it to somebody else. And I'm sure some people took advantage of it, but that's not what it was about. And it was a 48-hour thing, and tons of people placed orders and sent hundreds of gift cards all over it. And that was cool shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's a year later. You know, nobody didn't miss a meal in my organization because we gave up profits for 2 days. You know, but we helped out a lot of people. I'm telling you. In a time like that where you're stuck in a house for months and you're getting depressed and you don't know what's going on and you're getting on each other's nerves as a family, man, that 20, 40, 60 minutes on a patio smoking a cigar is your relief in life.
Absolutely.
And now you're going to say, man, things have gotten so bad, you're going to take that away. So to be able to say, hey, look, man, here you go. You know, it's not a world changer. It's not solving any major problem for you, but it might bring you a little peace for about 5 hours, you know, of your life. And that was the cool thing that we had done.
So with the Great Smoke happening on virtual, what is your expectation for 2022 to make it, I mean, even compete with how big you're going this year?
Well, you know, this year is not big. This year is it's innovation. It's different. I mean, 50 of us in a studio with a bunch of cameramen is not big when you see 3,000 people packed in a room screaming at the top of their lungs. So I don't feel in any way big. You know, the reach may be different, but I don't even think the reach will be as much. Look, there's not as exciting, as intricate, as interactive I can make this broadcast, which it will be. It doesn't compare to flying down there physically and being around thousands of people who share your passion and having, you know, stories. And people make lifelong friends coming to this thing.
Yeah.
You know, people I meet once a year, every year. I got guys who come down with all 14 lanyards from every year. I see them once a year, you know, so you can't compare to that. So the goal is without a doubt to go back to a physical experience in 2022. Is there room to do a virtual experience once a year? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so, but I don't know because I, you know, and I know everybody's going to say I'm full of shit or think I'm full of shit, but I tell it the way it is. I don't know if this is going to be profitable, but I'm not concerned about the profitability on this one. I spent way too much money in this production team, you know, but I wasn't profitable the first 2 years we did the Great Smoke because it wasn't important for me about, I got to save every penny to make sure I make some money. Is I need to throw this epic, stupid event that people are going to talk to about for months. Yeah. Do it right now. I'll build something cool, which is what happened now. Now we get 3,000 people. So year 3, I broke even or made a few bucks. And now we make enough money that we give tens of thousands of dollars over the years to the Kids Cancer Foundation that we donate, you know, from the event. So, you know, we think long term. So I'm not worried about making money. And the production cost is in, I think hopefully when people see the finished product, they'll know how stupid we got with this. But
it's going to be dope.
We're losing the business of having a few thousand people here in town and hanging out and lounging in my bars for, you know, 4 nights at 8 different events. So that business is going to be gone. We sell a lot at the Great Smoke during the pit, but I think a lot of that is in the moment spirit. They're there with thousands of other people and they're seeing guys like Carlito Fuente and Pete Johnson, and they're getting caught and they'll buy stuff. You know, I mean, the deals are good, but I think a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, Pete's here, he'll sign a box," and they go buy a box and have Pete sign it. So, I don't know how that's going to translate to the online store and the events and the sales. So I don't know if it'll be profitable, and I'm all right with it for this year.
Yeah.
If I see the potential, that it could be profitable, that, you know, we could do this and make a few bucks without losing money and have this digital experience, especially for those people who really just can't go out to be involved in something like this. They don't have the funds to get on a plane or stay in a hotel room. I would look to do it twice a year. I would do a physical one in the fall, in the spring. We continue with that, and then do a digital one in the fall. You know, maybe not to this level of grandeur, but the set's already built. I purposely put dates on them so we could have the Great Smoke digital experience annually. And the set was a big cost. So, you know, we could put them in storage, use the sets. I think with this camera crew, I'll learn whether to be worth to spend the money to bring them down again, or do we know how to do it with some local people? I don't know. So it's an experience thing, and but I'm not opposed to doing it. I think now that we've done it once, look, this television production thing's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Now that we've done it once, it wouldn't be that hard to do it again. You know, it's just now a matter of whether we could do it where it makes sense. That's all.
Well, Abe, I know you're a busy guy, and we have reached our hour. One thing that we do on the virtual smoke deck, we do something called gem, and where you'll drop a gem on whatever it is that whatever topic or whatever comes to heart that you want to say to the people. So it's just something to kind of give the viewers that's watching and the people that's gonna watch something to remember about you afterwards.
What's it called? Jim?
Yes, Jim.
Why Jim?
I don't really know. You know, like the diamonds. You know, you call them a gem.
A gem.
A gem.
Okay. I thought you said something like the name.
It's just something, you know, you find rough diamonds in whatever situations. And
you want me to give philosophical advice to a bunch
I do. Philosophical. Let's go.
I'll
the man, myth, and the legend. Honest Abe.
I'll say this. I think society as a whole needs to step back, because I think we've become a little bit less human and a little less tolerant of people. I think we're quick to make something bad when it's not. And I just don't think it's a healthy way to live. I think that people just need to be more understanding that difference okay. People don't have to be the same as you. People don't have to think like you. And it's okay not to agree. But I think this last year during the pandemic and during the election, you know, there was a lot of just unnecessary ugliness that was put out there. And, you know, it's one thing to have you in your own personal opinion on a situation, but to be so publicly open and talk about it and cause controversy, I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's perspective is different. Everybody's reality is different. You think you're completely normal. I think I'm completely normal. The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think just people need to be more tolerant. And I think if anything, as a society, if we could learn to pull that off, somehow learn how to be more tolerant of stuff and people around us, and just courteous. There's no more courteous. Nobody's courteous anymore. I hold doors for people. People walk in, don't even say thank you. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't understand that mentality. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'll say, you're welcome. I mean, I just don't get it, because everybody's just all about themselves and in themselves. And, you know, I never knew anybody who's all in for it for themselves or whatever get far. And if they do, they're alone.
Yeah.
And nobody really wants to be alone. So that's my little gem for the day, man. Take a step back, try to understand other people's positions in life, and try to be a little bit more tolerant of, you know, things that, you know, people who don't think the way you do.
Yeah. And Abe, thank you so much for your time, man. We really do appreciate you stopping by and spending this last hour with us on the virtual smoke deck, man. You do not understand the honor I feel to be able to interview you. I know you have a lot going on, and I know it's probably going to be your last show until the Great Smoke. At least I think so.
I think I got one more. Yeah, we got to do a circuit, bro. I mean, look, when you do something so off the wall that it's hard to explain, I have to get out there and talk to people. Yeah. I think I have one more book. But listen, it was great getting to know you, because I saw you, I see you online. So when you reached out to me, it was, you know, I absolutely wanted to do your show. And you're in Florida, man. So you know, one of these days you're gonna come down. We gotta have a cigar.
Absolutely. Well, Abe, hang tight for a couple more minutes for me. I want to have a conversation with afterwards. But thank you so much for tuning in on us and being part of our segment.
Thank you.
Man, see, the virtual smoke deck, man, is everything about, you know, positive vibes and just interacting with people that we normally wouldn't be able to interact with on a day-to-day basis, and sit down and speak with people. Me and Abe would have never had crossed paths. Eventually we would have, but, you know, just having this conversation, I learned so much from him. And I hope you guys did too, man. Great guy. Tune into the virtuals, thegreatsmoke.com. I'm going to put that at the bottom one more time. Go ahead and buy your tickets today. It's thegreatsmoke.com where you can book them at. Man, that is happening on February 20th from noon to 8. You will enjoy this. Like he said, there's over 400 plus cigars and materials and, memorabilia and different things of that nature that you're going to get from this package, man. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in to the Virtual Smoke Deck. As always, man, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, man. A couple things that I do want to highlight. Next week, we will not have a Virtual Smoke Deck. My wife will be fierce if I decided to do a Virtual Smoke Deck on Valentine's Day. So I'm going to make sure I keep my family happy, keep my wife happy. We're not going to do a Virtual Smoke Deck, but we do have one in store for the 21st. Let me figure out who we have. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about next weekend. My wife says it's gonna be a good weekend. Next weekend, we got Tracy from an Ultimate CEO Cigars coming in as our special guest, man. I hope you guys are able to stop in. It's Sunday every day at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go ahead and tune in, man. I appreciate everybody that hit up that comment box. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, notification bell. Give us a huge thumbs up. If you're watching off the Virtual Smoke Deck, make sure you go to the Virtual Smoke Deck and like and follow that page, man. Also, the 19th, and it's kind of crazy that this is happening. The 19th, Dapper D's will be opening. Dapper D's will be opening here in Jacksonville, Florida on the 19th, man. I hope you guys can stop by for the soft opening. And on May 8th, we're going to have the grand opening, man. Again, we appreciate you guys for stopping by. I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm gone.